It was John Paul Getty that said, I'd rather have 1% of the efforts of 100 people than 100% of the efforts of myself. Well, my name is Todd Allen. I'm the founder and CEO of a company called Todd Allen Consulting. The story of the Phoenix is that in order for the Phoenix to grow, it's immortal, but in order for it to continue to grow and to elevate, it has to die. So in order for a person to move from one level to the next, the old person has to die. There are 5 major languages: English, French, Spanish, Portuguese, and Arabic. What do those 5 languages have in common? All 5 languages are languages of colonialists. That if you ask yourself what you're going to do in the next 24 hours, you're able to make specific plans, actions, and activities to acquire the things that you want.
So like for the people that are always out there, working their 9-to-5 jobs, right? What do you suggest they should do?
There's 3 ways in order to increase your income. Number 1, you have to do something that's in high demand. Number 2 is that you have to become the best at what you do. And the third thing is that you have to be...
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and on today's video, I'll be interviewing a successful businessman who has been in this industry for many years and has a lot of knowledge and insights to share with you guys. So here is a bit of background about him. He is the CEO of Todd Allen Consulting. He has published 3 books so far, and he has his own podcast and much more. So in this interview, we talked about how to live an elite lifestyle, how to overcome any struggles, and different ways of creating income. Let's get right into this video. Welcome.
Thank you.
So for the people who don't know who you are, who are you?
Well, my name is Todd Allen. I'm the founder and CEO of a company called Todd Allen Consulting. And one of the programs that I offer is called Happyosity, where I help people to find their values and to mold their life around their values and to find their true happiness and lifestyle.
That's great, man. So I know you've been in this business field for many years, and you have like a lot of knowledge and a lot of insight to offer to my audience. What are some key moments or experiences that had like the greatest impact in shaping who you are right now?
Wow, that's a very good question. I didn't grow up with the internet, right? So, I'm in my early 60s. And so the internet and technology have grown immensely. And what has helped me during this process is to embrace the technology and to figure out how to best use it, aligning it with my values and aligning it with the goals that I want as far as my lifestyle is concerned. And so by using the technology, I find that I'm able to create greater efficiencies in my coaching business, or even planning different things that I want to do in my life. And so that's been the greatest experience. We all have hardships, right? Experienced some hardships, especially after the pandemic that we just went through. But what I found is that when people truly align with their values and what's important to them, and they could use other tools that are available to them, they can create great efficiency in their life and they can elevate their lifestyle.
And you have worked in many different roles and in many diverse industries. Which industry was your favorite and why?
Wow. My favorite industry is the personal development space. Why? I've been a college professor in economics for over 24 years. And I'm a different type of economist. I'm more of a behavior economist. And so it's not, what people think the dollars and cents. Economics is really about making choices and decisions. And so, as we go through life, we're always constantly having to make a decision, but we're making the decision in a vacuum because we don't know what the future holds. And yesterday is over with. So we have to live in the present. We have to make decisions in the present that affect our future. And so, one of the most important questions that I ask myself every morning when the Most High finds favor and lets me wake up is, what am I going to do in the next 24 hours? And so what I've found is that in this personal development space, and in using neuroscience and using economics and using even agile scrum techniques, that if you ask yourself what you're going to do in the next 24 hours, you're able to make specific plans, actions, and activities to acquire the things that you want, maybe that you think that you want, maybe in the future. But by breaking it down into small incremental steps, it becomes a lot easier to move towards the things that you want in life. So the industry, again, is the personal development space. And the most important thing in that space is to find what your core values are and to live according to your values, not what someone else prescribes for you.
Yeah, so you talked about this new routine that you do, like a 24-hour routine, like the second that you wake up, you start to think, what am I gonna do in the next 24 hours? So when did you develop this routine, and how has it changed your life?
That's a great question. I saw a movie that was called In Time, and it's a Justin Timberlake movie, so it's kind of corny. But I saw this movie 12 years ago, but I thought about it, and it really has not impacted. It had not impacted me a lot up until the pandemic, right? And so during the pandemic, I mean, everybody suffered. I'm sure that all of your listeners may have lost a loved one during that time period. And we lost a loved one. My wife's family and I, we lost a loved one during that time period as well. And so it really impacted me to see how valuable time is and how little time we really do have. And so we have to kind of rule the day or rule the time, if you will. And so, thinking back on this movie, and I show this movie in my economics courses, and I show this to clients as well. And it's a way to impact them, to show them that time is your real currency, right? That we have to be accountable for our time, because if we misuse it, we don't get it back. And if we misuse it, we have to do things over again in order to advance our lives forward. So it has impacted me, because as I get older, I realize that the only way that I can create some sort of a legacy is if I utilize the remaining time that I have in this realm of life to the greatest efficiency possible. Now, I mean, someone like you, on the other hand, being young, you might think that you have, all the time in the world. But think about it. If you are able to master the moments in your life now, how much further will you be in the future? No one taught me that. I mean, I just look back in my life. I'm like, man, if I had known this when I was younger, my lifestyle would be completely different, or even more elevated than it is now. So, that's a great question. I hope I answered it sufficiently for you.
You did. Really appreciate it. And on social media, right? A lot of people label you as a personal coach, a financial coach, a happiness coach. But how do you see yourself?
I see myself as an educator. I see myself as not just a coach, but a teacher. And it's also important to know that coaches need coaches as well. I have a mentor. I have a coach. In fact, I talk to my coach, 3 or 4 times a week. If you see a successful person, you realize that they didn't get there by themselves. That in order for a person to be really, truly successful, they need other people, because other people have skill sets that they may not have, right? Other people may be able to motivate you in one way or another to help you get to the next point. But my strength in doing my personal values assessment, my strength is that I'm a learner, right? I'm always learning and applying different things to my life. And so in doing so and applying things to my life and then learning from my experiences, I can then help people manage life situations or situations that they may be going through, to kind of help give them some guidance. I don't give answers. I just help people find the solutions which are best for them. I don't tell people how to think. I help people to think through some of the difficult times for them. Because, you and I, as the living and breathing creation of the Most High, we have access to ideas and to strategies that were given to us by, the creator of the universe. But we first have to recognize, who we are and how important that we are. And it's not the paper money that people chase, because the money is not real, right? It's called fiat currency. What is real is you and I and our talents And if we work together, we can create a utopia. As above, so below. We can create the lifestyle that we desire, but we have to do it with intention, and we have to do it in the present. Like I said before, tomorrow doesn't exist. Yesterday is gone. The present is the gift from the Most High. We have to operate with great efficiency in this time.
And you talked about like money not being real. It's like a fiat currency. What do you mean by that? I'm confused.
Okay. This here is 2,000 pesos here in Colombia. This is 2,000 pesos. Okay. You have a dead person, photo of a dead person, and then you have, it says 2,000 pesos. Mm-hmm. But what is the difference between this piece of paper and a notebook piece of paper? The value that we place on it. And the value that we place on it is a mental value. Someone told us this is 2,000 pesos, and they would exchange goods and services if you give them this. Mm-hmm. But it really has no value. It's the same as notebook paper, but the only value that we give it is the value of our mind. That's what I mean by intrinsic. The value that we create is the value that we say something is the value that we create, value that we believe in our own mind. And so that means that it's intrinsic. What is real? This doesn't have any value if we don't exist. So what's more powerful? But yet people give hours, minutes, seconds of their lives that they never get back for pieces of paper. And that's the danger. We put these pieces of paper above our families. We put these pieces of paper above ourselves. We put this piece of paper above the dreams and the goals that we have because we're constantly chasing this. They print this every single day, but there's only one you in the universe. They ain't gonna make another you. That makes you more valuable because you are, there's not many of you. There's a low supply of you. There's a lot of supply of this. So the value of this decreases every moment of every day, but your value increases because of the value that you give to the world.
So what do you suggest like we should do then? Because like I think like in my mind, I think the money actually has value, you know, like we actually need that to live. Like you can't buy things without money, you know? So like what do you suggest like we should do if like
well here's the thing. You know, you take a look at where you're living and you take a look at the cost of things, and the cost of things continue to go up, right? Whether it's gasoline, whether it's milk, whether it's food, whether it's a piece of fruit. But who determines that? Who determines that that price goes up? And what you exchange to buy that is time in your life that you never get back. Pieces of fruit grow every single day. They print pieces of paper or dollars every single day, but there's only one you. And the only thing that produces anything is you. This doesn't produce anything. You produce the value by your businesses, by what you're doing here with your channel, by interviewing you, by interviewing people, by going out and by finding people that you can interview. That takes time and energy and effort on your part, right? And hopefully at one point, if people see value in what you do, they will exchange this for the work that you do. Does that make sense? And so this doesn't have the value. You have the value.
So like for the people that are always out there, you know, working their 9-to-5 jobs, right? What do you suggest they should do?
Well, there's 3 ways in order to increase your income. Okay. Number 1, you have to do something that's in high demand, that a lot of people want it, right? Number 2 is that you have to become the best at what you do. And if you cannot be the best, you have access to people that can work on your behalf to help you become better, right? Whether it's through constant learning, whether it's actually having a skill or creating a greater skill, that you become the best. And the third thing is that you have to become indispensable, irreplaceable, that you are so good at what you do that people just want to work with you because the quality of other people's work or the quality of what services other people give is not the same high quality that you offer, right? Everybody wants a Mercedes Benz, but everybody can't buy a Mercedes Benz. Why? Because of the cost of it. But it doesn't mean that the quality, doesn't mean that they're not the best at what they do, doesn't mean that there's not a high demand. It just simply means that a lot of people don't have access to it, right? It's high demand, but they don't have access to it. Why? Because they can't. A lot of people can't afford the price. But those who do afford the price buy tons of them. So you have to do something that's in high demand. You have to be the very best at what you do, and then you also have to be irreplaceable. You have to be so good that they'd want to continue to have a relationship. Mm-hmm. And so whether you're working a 9 to 5, when the economy starts to go south or to diminish, one of the first things that go from a company is that they start laying employees off. They start laying people off, but they never lay off the person who is essential to maintaining profitability in that company. If a person is a good salesperson, or if a person is a good artisan or able to manage things in an appropriate manner and to elevate the quality of the company, those are the people that are not let go. The first people to be let go are people that are replaceable. And with this technology, as I said before, the technology is starting to replace a lot of jobs, right? A lot of actions and activities. So it's important that you and I, as the living human, as the living being, we continually to elevate our skill set so that we become irreplaceable, whether we are using the technology, or one of the things that the technology will never be able to replace is that human connection, is that human content that you and I are able to explore by building a relationship. And that's indispensable. So if you become very qualified and capable of building relationships, building networks, that becomes indispensable. You cannot replace that.
That was beautiful. And I know you run a company called Happyosity. What is your goal for the people in that company or program? I mean.
Okay. Well, the name of the company is Todd Allen Consulting. But one of the programs I have is called Happyosity. And so with Happyosity, what I do is I study the science of happiness, and I use positive psychology, neuroscience, health sciences, a lot of different topical areas to combine this into helping people to expand their health, their well-being, and their mental health and their mental well-being. So Happyosity is the idea. Happyosity is a made-up word, much like Google. And the idea is that people want to be less stressed. They want to be happy. They want to have lifestyle. And I focus on 5 areas: income, education, health, travel, and lifestyle. And those are the 5, what they call, economists call social determinants, that if you have those things in abundance, you will elevate your life. You will 10x your life, 100x your life. You will have the life of your dreams, and you'll live the way that you want to, that with intention. And that's the important thing, that you live life on your own terms. And if you voluntarily decide to do different things, it's because it's something that you want to do, not because someone compels you to do it.
Yeah. And it's clear that you are doing pretty good for yourself. You have like your own podcast, you have your own programs, and you have published 3 books. And I want to know more about the books that you have published, specifically the one called The 28 Laws to Live an Elite Lifestyle.
28 Laws Living an Elite Lifestyle. Yeah.
I want to know more about that book. So what is it? So look, first of all, right, what is an elite lifestyle in your opinion?
Well, an elite lifestyle is a lifestyle that you choose, right? It's a lifestyle of your choosing. So most of the things that we go through in life, we voluntarily accept, right? And we voluntarily accept because we've been conditioned to think that that's the way that it ought to be. Think of it this way. There are 5 major languages: English, French, Spanish, Portuguese, and Arabic. What do those 5 languages have in common? All 5 languages are languages of colonialists who went abroad, who found peoples in other lands, and they said, you will believe what we believe, our God will be your God, our language will be your language. And so what has happened through the years is that people have accepted that, and they believe the lies. They believe the the culture and the lifestyle from those who colonized them. And when a person realizes that they have their own brain and they have their own mind and they can make their own choices and decisions and they're free because they were created free by the Most High, they will start to question things, right? And as we question things, we start to research things. What we realize is that some things that we were told that we need to do in order to be happy are not necessarily those things that make us happy. For example, one of the things that I was told in school when I was younger is you go to school, you get good grades, you graduate, you go find a job, and you work in somebody else's dream until you're 60, 70 years old. Then you retire to, and in retirement, you're not working anymore. But the statistics say that 5 years after most people retire, they die, meaning that if they have retirement accounts, they don't get an opportunity to enjoy it in their youth. They're old. What are you going to, what am I going to do at 70, 80 years old or something like that? And how am I going to enjoy my wife? How am I going to enjoy my family? I can't run up and down the beach. I can't, how am I going to travel? Because most people, when they get older, their health declines. And so the dirty little secret is that even though that you're retiring into your golden years, the price of things will increase because you have now health concerns. Your health care is going to be going up. And if you have a fixed income, expenses continue to go up. So expenses go up, your income goes down. How is that a quality life? So the idea, what do? You never retire. You never retire, or you make it so that your money, your resources are always working for you, always producing and creating what I call evergreen content. It's not my term, but it's a term called evergreen content. If you make evergreen content, you make it once and it can be repeatable, and people will buy it over and over and over again. They only wrote the Bible once, but everybody keeps buying one, right? Evergreen content.
That's true. That's true. Let's say there was a person watching this video right now and like that person is at rock bottom, like they have nothing going for them in life. What is one piece of advice you go for that person right now?
That's a great question. And I can relate to that because, as I said, we are constantly faced with life challenges, and it's simple. It's not always easy, right? Because sometimes we are trying to live up to the expectations of others. And then we tend to have low self-esteem if we try to compare our lives and compare ourselves to others. But what I would say, like someone just said to me recently, are you familiar with the phoenix, the bird, the phoenix, right? Well, the story of the phoenix is that in order for the phoenix to grow, it's immortal, but in order for it to continue to grow and to elevate, it has to die. So in order for a person to move from one level to the next, the old person has to die. The old way of thinking, the old ideas have to die. And you have to be reborn again, right? So you have to be grown from the ashes of your strife to create a new phoenix, to create a new reality, to create a new lifestyle. And so I would say that whatever it is a person's going through at this particular moment and point in their time, it is temporary, right? Use this opportunity to create better skills, to create a better you. And then in time, as you continue to improve yourself, more and more opportunities will present themselves and you will be able to grow. And then a short period of time, you will look back and you're like, man, that was a terrible time for me, but it was the time that I used to springboard and to elevate to another level in my life.
That's deep. And there was one question that was left for you from the last person that I interviewed. And the question was, what was your lowest point in your business and how did you overcome that?
Wow. The lowest point. There's always a series of ebbs and flows. There's always a series of lower points and higher points because success doesn't come in a straight line or a linear line. It sometimes goes up and down and undulates. Mm-hmm. The lowest part of my business is when I'm constantly looking for ways in which to get in front of more and more people. Social media is full of people who have grandiose claims, but they don't have receipts. Or if they show receipts, my question is, if you're successful people don't show their bank accounts. One of the things that is an irritant for me is if I'm trying to hire someone for a service, one of the first questions they ask me, well, what is your budget? That's like asking me, what's in your bank account? And I think that I understand why they ask that, because they're trying to get a sense of what they can basically charge. But for me, I believe that the price is the price, and it's important that if someone has a problem with the price, that you show them the value of what it is and let them compare the value with what they're getting to the price that they would have to pay. Because every business situation is a social contract. And so we go into contracts with one another and we pay based upon the services that we get, but really we pay based upon the value, the perceived value. It's sort of like with you and your business. You never want to hire an employee that's going to cost you money. You hire an employee that's going to make you money. Just like you don't hire a service that's going to cost you money, you hire a service that is supposed to make you money. And so the lowest point for me has always been, how do I get in front of more people, right? Because the more people that I can help get what they want, the more they will help me to get with what I want. It was John Paul Getty that said, I'd rather have 100% of the efforts of 100 people than 100% of the effort. I'm sorry. I'd rather have 1% of the efforts of 100 people than 100% of the efforts of myself. Meaning that as you get in front of more and more people, you're able to network. And if you can network with 100 people and increase their life by 1%, your lifestyle would increase by 100%. If you can understand what I'm saying.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, that's great. And what is one question you have for the next person I interview?
The one question I have for the next person is, how do you improve yourself every day? And what are you going to do in the next 24 hours?
I see. Thank you so much, Todd, for taking the time out of your day to join me on this interview. I really loved the way that you answered the question. So at first, right, I'll ask you a question, then you give me a great example, and then you hit me with the answer, and then that's when you actually provide the actual solution to it. I really love how you answered the question. It was thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to join me on this interview. It was great talking to you, man. I really appreciate it.
Oh, you're more than welcome.